Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton, and we have made it through another week here in the last month of 2023. So that means it's weekly reader time. It's time for all of us to kind of sit down, chill out, hang out with each other for a little bit, look back, let go of the stress of the week. I hope everyone had an amazing reading week this week, an amazing week in general this week. Things were really great around here, the channel and the house. So I feel very lucky. I hope you guys are every bit as lucky as me. This past week, grab a frosty beverage and let's kind of just go over how we did last week as far as reading goes. And it was pretty productive for me, guys. I know last week we had wrapped up A Fool's Hope, Book 2 in the Last War trilogy by Mike Shackle. So I pulled immediately The Elephant of Surprise by Joe R. Lansdale. This is the latest Hap and Leonard book that I had not got to. I always love a Hap and Leonard book. This one, probably not my favorite. Not as much of a story with the twists and the turns, the spiraling of trouble that the boys can get into in a Hap and Leonard book. It was just pretty much one long chase with a couple of breaks in between. Of course, there were some absolute laugh out loud belly laugh moments, and it was wonderful to check in with the guys again. I'm not saying it wasn't a party and it wasn't a lot of fun. It just wasn't my favorite Hap and Leonard book because I don't think it was as layered as some of the other ones as far as the twists and turns and the case goes that they find themselves embroiled in. But always just that feeling, a line stuck with me out of it that I want to share with you. Family breathes together. Close family breathes as one. And it just struck me as so true, so natural. Just the mucho mojo storytelling ability of Joe R. Lansdale from East Texas to just it's almost like you're there by a campfire and he's just laying it out for you. It's just effortless. So much of it is just a great wild ride. But I wouldn't put it up there on the top of the heap of Hap and Leonard book. Right after that, I picked up Robert McCammon, another one of my all-time favorites. Now, this is the penultimate book in the Matthew Corbett series, 7 Shades of Evil. This is a book of short stories, and most of these short stories deal with some of the early Matthew Corbett career, between like 1701 to 1703, kind of not too far after Speaks the Nightbird, when he just becomes a problem solver in New York, under the auspices of the problem solver, the Kennedy Agency. And there's short stories where Matthew Corbett's involved, Hudson Greathouse is involved, Minx is involved, Miss Kennedy herself is involved, and it just kind of fills in some holes in that early career of detecting and problem solving, and it kind of, even more so than some of the full books, it kind of goes a little bit into that what goes bump in the night and creepy things. You know, Matthew Corbett kind of stumbles into some ghost stories and some the werewolf stories and some vampire stories, and it's got so many great creepy moments. And like I say, not every story is Matthew Corbett. You get a good check-in of all the main characters before we have that final volume, that final book, Leviathan, coming in 2024 in October. Hopefully, I know that's Robert McCammon's plan. And even the last story, they say 7 Shades of Evil, which you have 7 short stories. And then at the very end, there's an extra one that he throws in there of Barry Grigsby, Matthew Corbett's lady love, on a ship coming back to New York, leaving Matthew to go off with Professor Fell as they embark on their last adventure. She is returning home after he saves her, and it's kind of what she gets up to on the ship ride back to New York Harbor. So kind of fills in a lot of holes. There's some great character moments. There's a lot of fun. I don't think it will make my best of list. This is probably the first year that I won't have McCammon on a best of list. And I love what McCammon does. I love the character work he does. I love the prose that he's able to use, especially in this Matthew Corbett series. But the little bit of the stutter, stop, and start between short stories, I didn't really think he had the time to do what he can do and really play to his strengths. So there was another Matthew Corbett novel this year. I don't think that's going to make my best of series yet either. I really have to sit down and start working on that list, but I don't know. McCammon might not be on that list this year. I'm not sure. I discovered so many new authors this year that I have absolutely adored. So it's going to be a tough year. He's got to be firing on all cylinders to make the list this year, and I don't think these two books that I read of his in 2023 are going to pull it off. But I haven't really looked that closely, so I could surprise myself. I had some time left in the week, so I started Ryan Skeffington's Lost Soul. This is my indie published read of the month, and I'm going to go not quite halfway. I'm going to go 80, 90 pages in probably. I'll probably finish this in the next day or two. And very, very interesting. This is one of those books that he pulls no punches. Such an amazing, fleshed out, built world. I love his world building. The earth is no more. We have just wrung it dry out of every resource there and made it not a hospitable place to live. So humanity is now living on a ring world. We were saved by the Celestials. I'm not quite sure what the Celestials are yet. I hope I get to find out by the end of this book. And we are on a ring world. The Celestials are in the nucleus of this ring world, and they have a status quo of this ring world that is extremely brutal caste system, all the way down to the dredge that have to be miners for the minerals that build the ring world and keep the ring world going. And he does an amazing job, Ryan does, of building world through character. We're going to so many different parts and different strata of this class system through the characters' eyes of Maximus and Kana and Peter. And I mean, literally, there's a good 6 or 7 characters that we're jumping in and between, so we get a good idea of all the different strata of the caste system and everything that's going on. And it's a lot of information coming at you at one time. And I love the way he fleshes out his world through character and moving around this ring world. Now, one of two things is going to happen for me. It's either going to be a pretty satisfying read because I love the world building and there's quite a few characters that I'm really enjoying and their journey and their arc. And there's a detective story that I don't want to get too much into about a missing boy that I'm really interested in. But there's a lot going on that I'm very interested in, so I'm going to have a very satisfying read. Or all of these plot threads that we have dangling, all of these balls that he's juggling by showing us all these disparate parts of this ring world where humanity has to be to survive, all these plot threads are going to pull together and have one big at the end, and in that case, it might blow my hair back a little bit. I might be extremely satisfied. So one of the two things will happen, and I can't wait to get there. I will be reading later tonight, and I'll be probably reading some tomorrow, so I should finish this pretty quickly. And thank you so much again, Ryan, for sending that to me. I'm really enjoying it. And after that, I think it will depend on how much time I have in the week coming up. I might pick up, now I know there's a kind of longish short story novella kind of linked Jonathan Marbury story that happens in the Kagan of the Damned universe between books 1 and 2 that I have on ebook. And if I have time, I might just rip through that very quickly before I pick up the third volume in the trilogy, The Warlord Chronicles Excalibur by Bernard Cornwell. And I absolutely cannot wait to see how this wraps up. This is like a bit longer. Well, no, it's about the same length, but I have enjoyed this trilogy so much. You guys voted for me to start this journey for my birthday read, and I couldn't be more pleased with it. So I can't wait to get to that. And I am putting together my top 10 list of wow moments of the whole trilogy that I will be unveiling after I read this third book. And the problem I'm having right now is I haven't started book 3, and I am dangerously close to 10 moments already. I think I'm at 9 or 10 already. So I'm I haven't even read this one. There's going to be some serious cuts happening, or I'm just going to have to break the rules and go for way more than 10. So I haven't decided yet. But that's kind of where I'm at reading. Wise guys, where are you at? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know how your week went. Let me know what you got on tap to crack into before the end of the year. And if that has a chance of making your best of list or tearing apart your best of list, I love comments so much. I answer them right away. So hit me up quickly as you can. This past week on the channel, we had a great week. We put out our interview with Christopher Rocchio. If you haven't checked that out, please do. He was such an amazing guest to talk to. He was so open. He was so genuine. He so thoughtful for each of my questions, took the time to answer them to the fullest, and it was just an entire open book. And I really am so thankful of the time he took with us here to talk about Empire of Silence, the first book in the Sun Eater saga. And I absolutely can't wait to continue my journey. And he doesn't live that far from me. So I know Disquiet Gods, I think, comes out in April. So I think I might be having to do a road trip and get my book signed in person, because it's not all that far away. And I feel like I not only did an interview, but I met a kindred spirit and a friend. That's just how open and genuine I found him to be. I really, really enjoyed that time. And the other video we put out this past week was our book haul, and I had some amazing people to thank. Please check that out. People that truly not only touched me, but my whole family with what they sent to us. And it was a pretty good haul. It was a pretty good haul coming up here before the end of the year for November. So check that out if you haven't yet. Coming up this week, we are going to continue our all-new series of Talking Story with Tubers. We are going to have a live stream this week, and we'll put out the reminders and everything so you guys can, if you can make it for the live stream, set the time aside, because for episode number 2, we are going to have Josh from Red Fury Books, and I cannot wait to talk to Josh. I love his videos. It's like checking in with a friend. I just watched the one he put up today, and it makes me so excited for some of my reads coming up, because he was saying they make his top 10 all-time list today. So I cannot wait to talk with him. He has gone on an artist journey of his own in the music world that I can't wait to talk about. I can relate to that because I went on one of my own, and I think that's why we both appreciate literature so much and the indie movement so much. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him. I hope all of you guys can be there in the chat, and we can get some great questions from you as well. And I know it's a little bit late, but the other video coming up this week, we are going to wrap up the month of November. I'm going to bring out the big stack that we went through in November, and we're going to go over everything we read that month, and we're going to tie a nice bow on the next to last month of the year here on the channel. And other channel news this past week, and again, we don't watch numbers like too crazy, but we were just looking on there real quick, and we noticed that we had gone over 50,000 views on the channel. Wow, guys, I couldn't even, it's hard to process. That's an ass ton of views, man. That's a lot of views. I would have not pulled that number out of my butt if you'd have given me 3 days to reach for it. I was truly shocked and stunned. So we put out a big thank you about that, and I just want to reiterate that and say thank you so much if you've ever checked into this channel. I appreciate it so much. It's meant so much to me to start this up with my son, and it's been a great journey, and getting Story back into my life like this has been just absolutely so enriching to me, I can't even tell you. Other than that, that just kind of wraps it up for us, guys. If this is your first time checking us out, just that button down there, that thumbs up, that subscribe button. If you like what we do here, if you like the vibe, hit that button. It feels good to hit that button. Maybe if you checked us a couple times, you haven't hit that button yet, now's the time. Go ahead. It helps us grow the channel, helps us do everything here. So just take a second to click that and click that little thumbs up for us as well. But most important, leave us that comment. Let us know what you think of the channel. Let us know what you're reading. We just love comments. That's the whole reason why we started, was to have peers to talk books with. So that is our number one thing that makes us all warm and fuzzy inside. Other than that, TV-wise, checking in, I am all caught up with The Good Doctor. I watched the last special today. I liked it a great deal. And there are some things I wasn't crazy about. And I'm not going to go on record and say that yet with anyone, because it's so new and I don't want to do any spoilers. But I wouldn't say it's one of my all-time faves. But it was up there. There's a lot of faces that I enjoyed seeing again, and it was a fun romp. And tonally, it was pretty close to what I wanted, but then I had some tone problems with it. And maybe I'll talk with somebody and feel differently, but just my initial response to it was it wasn't blasted out of the park for me. But it was a good ride. I'm all caught up on a new show I started on HBO Max called Bookie. This is it's a little 30-minute kind of situation comedy about a bookmaker in Los Angeles, played by Sebastian Maniscalco. I really, really like Sebastian Maniscalco's stand-up, so I kind of wanted to check out the series. And it's fun. If I'm going to watch something and I don't have time for a full hour, it's a nice little fun thing to watch real quickly. Sometimes when I'm getting ready for work in the morning or something like that. I'm all caught up with For All Mankind. For me, this is the best show out there right now. It's moving a little slow this season for me, but I just know they're just getting all the pieces in place for the big gut punch coming up at the end of the season, I'm sure. I'm an episode behind. I haven't caught this week's episode of Monarch of Monsters, but that has been a fun show as well. And I wrapped up Fall of the House of Usher. I really, really enjoyed this series. I think they missed the ball a little bit on the final episode. It got a tad on the didactic side for me, a little bit preachy, but some of the wrap-ups were spot on, crazy creepy, really loved it. Some of the visuals I thought were outstanding, and some of the performances. Bruce Greenwood, I didn't know he had all those gears. I thought he did an astounding job of kind of carrying the torch there, and I couldn't have been happier with his performance. Some of the moments in the past several episodes where they really leaned into Poe's poetry, Annabelle Lee, The Raven, and the performance of those poems in the context of what was going on in the story about this family spiraling down from their own hubris and greed, I really thought were beautiful. The poetry just really absolutely worked. Not dated at all, just beautiful language that encapsulated what was going on the screen, and the performance was just top-notch. So other than a little bit of a whiff on the ball on the last episode, I thought, for a little bit preachy reasons, other than that, I truly enjoyed the series. And that's pretty much it for me, guys. Let me know how you're doing. I hope it's exceptional. I hope your past week has been wonderful. Enjoy Sunday evening with your family, and we will see you coming up next week with Josh from Red Fury Books and our November closeout. Thank you again. My name has been John Minton, and this has been Talking Story.